How's it going, guys? Teach Me Grappling here. Quick look at our shirts. We got our t-shirt raffle and our rash guard raffle at the end of the month. Today we're going to be showing you guys a match from a tournament called Never Tap. This is between Joe Stevenson and Nick Diaz. So it's a nice little treat for you guys if you guys never knew that they had a grappling match. It is definitely a different format than what you're used to. Never Tap. This, I believe, was late 2004. I think it was December, if I remember correctly. So there was like $1,000 for a four-man tournament for the winner. This was actually the first round for their weight division at 185. So Joe Stevenson versus Nick Diaz. I'm going to do my best to narrate this. It's going to go quick, probably. Sometimes I'll try to give you guys a good explanation of what's going on. So Joe Stevenson, if you guys didn't know, was a high school wrestler for Silverado High School. He's got a good wrestling stance. They're looking for ties. I actually think that Nick Diaz actually has a pretty good stance as well. He's obeying the basics of wrestling, keeping his right leg lead. There's a duck under by Joe. Joe was always great with duck unders. Nick's got his right leg lead, and he reaches with his left hand. If you ever notice, he reaches for the collar tie with his left hand a lot. There's Joe with a right hand just kind of like pulling hard on the collar, just trying to make your opponent step and wear him out. There's an arm drag. He's playing on wrists. He likes arm drags. He likes ducks. He's not nervous anymore. Nick Diaz goes for a 2-on-1, and then you see a quick spin by Joe Stevenson. Let's look at that again. So I'm going to slow this video down, and you see Nick just got the 2-on-1. He's got the 2-on-1. Joe circles to his right, sets him up by cross-stepping, spins for normally a double leg, but he ends up catching a single leg, running the pipe. And then you see a little bit of Nick kicking him away right here with his left foot. Great balance by Joe. And here's one more time in full speed. Again, 2-on-1. Joe sets him up, circles, cross-step with his left spin, and he's got it. Run the pipe. Super slick by Joe Stevenson. If you guys want to see that move, that's a move I can break down for you another time. Nick's coming up for the sweep for the double leg, and Joe kind of like got a little excited about a guillotine, and then Nick was able to get the sweep. So butterfly guard. Joe's trying to avoid Nick's head. The right foot's out now. He's maybe looking for a Kimura. Probably a Kimura guillotine situation right here for Joe Stevenson on the bottom. Nick's feeling real comfortable right now because his left knee is through. You see it slicing through. Joe's trying to push that knee back. He doesn't want the knee to hit the mat. But it's inevitably going to come through at this point. Next, Nick wants to get his left hand to the neck. So he wants to get that hand off his leg and drop his knees. That way he can get his left hand around the neck. Right now, Joe's going for the guillotine. He's still got half guard. And he's not likely to finish this. But Joe is so strong with his guillotines. This is a moment where if you squeeze the neck strong enough, you might actually get your opponent. There's a little push into the head for an omoplata, but wasn't there. Sometimes if you attack a submission, it may not get you the finish, but it might threaten your opponent enough where you can actually achieve a better position, like getting your guard back, and then the guillotine can happen. And now you see Nick got what he wanted. His left knee has come through. He's got his hands locked, arm around the neck. Looks like Joe can get arm triangled here, but Joe's back isn't flat. He's a strong guy. He's right hand stiff arming the hip. He's still got his left shoulder up off the mat. He's not flat. He's holding him at bay. And because of that, all that beef that he has, see him trying to come back in front of the face. He's digging right now, trying to get that frame with his left hand. Nick's just trying to hide from that frame. He's trying to find the close space to avoid the pressure points, like into the neck, where it'll create space. So Joe's trying to get his underhook. He starts to dig for underhook, which was a mistake actually, and he lost his frame altogether. Now Nick's staying nice and tight. Left shoulder pressure. This is kind of the style back then, was very, very popular in the 90s and early 2000s. You see his left foot trying to push Joe's leg down. Just real simple style of passing. Once you get on top, don't lose control. Don't lose position. Heavy left shoulder smash, still taught today. Just I think the players nowadays, they just have so many more options. Nick tries a different strategy, drops left hip, underhooks the leg. Joe brings him back up, and Nick chooses to go back to a crossface with his left hand. He's dealing with that guillotine again. I'm sure he's not worried that he's going to get submitted, but he's annoyed also a little bit by Joe's tactics of squeezing his head with the guillotine in half guard. And the time expires. So the format of this grappling match is actually 3 rounds. It's a 3-minute time limit. It's supposed to start when the match hits the floor. So I'm going to let you guys in on the sound of the in between the rounds. There's a young Nate Diaz there, and in the corner of Joe Stevenson, you've got the great Mark Lehman, great grappling coach. Loudmouth Lehman, great guy though. See how young Nate looks right there.
Today, look, I want you to take on. All right. I want you to put a little pressure on the pass and come around. When he crosses up to cover his guard, hit your heel hook. You know what I'm saying? If you miss the heel hook, pop back up to your feet and keep putting relentless pressure on his guard. All right. Give up no sweeps. Right.
I'll tell you the same thing I told them. We're going to do a whole 20 count routine. Okay. So stay still for 20 seconds.
Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
We're going to stand them up. Okay. And after the 3rd time, there's going to be a yellow card.
Okay. Okay.
If you're on the bottom of the mat,
Joey, push the pace in this fight, all right? If he can't wrestle it, you know what I'm saying? Just put the pressure pass up the heel. Don't telegraph your footlocks. That's why I combine it with the pass to mess him up. He's going to think he's defending the guard, snatch that thing. All right? Expect for him to roll out and then counter with it too, all right? Keep one deep breaths right.
Back to the middle, gentlemen.
Let's go, Cincinnati.
All right, and I'm back. So again, this format isn't the best format for jiu-jitsu or ground grappling, but it was a format they were trying to work to try to create excitement. Joe's checking for arm drags again, looking for an underhook. It's not there. He's getting real aggressive right here. If you notice, Nick Diaz is shut down a little bit. He's head blocking. He's just trying to stay in a good stance. And Joe's the one forcing the action. So Nick might have got that first round with the top position, but I'm not sure. They had 3 judges, and they're judging it round by round. So the winner is the guy who wins 2 out of 3. Kind of similar to MMA on the judges' scorecards. Joe's going to hit a duck. There it is. Nick Diaz, nice job, avoids that, brings his left arm back. Nick checks a double leg. Doesn't go full commitment. There's a nice... Did you guys see that? So Joe hit a single leg right there. It got stuffed. He went to a guillotine, and then he went for another single leg. Okay, watch the setup on this in slow-mo. Nick goes for a double leg right here, and right after Stevenson gets him off of his legs, watch the combination that he uses right here. He ties up. He's looking for hand control, fingers right here. He feints the single. Nick drops. He pulls the head down into a guillotine choke, but because of the resistance of Nick lifting his head up, he uses it as a setup so he can get in on his single leg. He has a nice angle to the side. Nick's looking for a Kimura, but the elbow in of Joe Stevenson doesn't allow that, and Nick loses his balance, falls to a knee, and now Joe just needs to chase him down, control the ankle, as Nick tries to kick him off and look for some type of counter. And but finally, Joe runs him down and gets the takedown. So here's one more time. We'll show you quick. You can see the double leg and feint the single, snap down, right back to a single, and then get up quick, angle, and finish it. So awesome job by Joe. That was a great combination. So, and now you've got the great guard work of Nick. He's got great leg work. He's coming up for a sweep from his open guard. Joe goes for the guillotine, and he's trying to pull Nick all the way down, but Nick's really strong right here. He's got double unders. He got his head free. Over-under position, much like you see in a lot of MMA fights. Now back into an open tie-up. Again, Joe's just got incredible duck unders. 2-on-1 by Nick Diaz. That's obviously something he really likes in his wrestling training. He's keeping his elbows in right there on the collar, decent, but they're both standing up a little high right here. There's the bump, using that left elbow to bump Nick Diaz off by Joe Stevenson. Nice arm drag to a duck. Beautiful combination. I've got to show you this one again in slow-mo. So check this out. Joe's pushing Nick's left hand off the collar. Nick goes for wrist control, and he won't let go of the wrist control. As Joe attempts to drag, Nick won't let go, so he brings the arm out for the duck under. He drags it across. Nick wants to keep a hold, so then he uses it against him and drags it outward. Notice how Joe drives his knee through the middle, keeping that knee so he doesn't go in the guard. Here's one more time, full speed. Nick grabs the wrist, won't let go, arm drag right into a duck. Absolutely beautiful. Again, notice the left knee trying to get through that guard. Nick Diaz kind of inverting right there and snapping a triangle, but didn't. Whoop, there's another one. You got to be careful, man, getting into that, stepping into that wood chipper. That is Nick Diaz's guard. Nice inversion, spins back. Joe goes for a footlock, straight into a Ashigarami, which is now the most popular thing to call it nowadays. In the old days, we would just say he went for a leg lock. But nowadays, everybody loves to call it Ashigarami. I guess it's good because it's a description of leg entanglement. Nick Diaz going for a single leg, trying to use his hooks. Back to feet on the hips. He lost his sweep opportunity. Joe's moving around. He's looking for footlocks. You can see looking for a little angle, maybe a little leg drag, and then into a straight footlock. You don't see a lot of heel hooks in this. Nice little leg drag, but again, the technique wasn't as refined back then. Again, another straight footlock. Again, what he's doing also is he might be burning a little bit of his gas tank, but he's influencing the judges with these attacks because there were no points. This was a submission only or judges at the end, but no points in this match. And so you impress the judges with submission holds. So Nick almost passing. He's kind of got the over-under pass. Joe's hitting a left-handed stiff arm right here, and Nick Diaz gets into side control. It was kind of tough right there because, like a lot of times in Jiu-Jitsu, the referee will call a stop, and then the athletes will keep moving. It looked more like Nick Diaz wasn't completely in side control. And right now, Mark Lehman is going crazy because Nick Diaz is going to be in full side control, and he wants him back a little further. But the referee, that's actually Brady Fink, black belt Brady Fink, and Brady didn't quite remember exactly the position. He says that it was side control, so it's going to be what the referee says. So it was just about side control. He was a little bit back, but whatever. It's always the issue we have with jiu-jitsu. So, knee on belly by Nick Diaz. The knee comes in for Joe Stevenson. Nick tries to step around the head, and he ends up back into an open guard and back into half guard. Again, you notice Joe kind of bring his left elbow out, maybe looking for a guillotine Kimura situation. And we're right back in the same old story with Nick Diaz. Got a little lockdown play by Joe that just got slipped out of. And heavy left shoulder pressure by Nick. He's getting his leg free, and time runs out. So that's the end of round 2. Headed into round 3 right here. Again, this format may not be the best for letting the guys get it on the ground, but exciting nonetheless with these two athletes.
Okay, Jed, we need this round. All right, we need this round. Takedown, don't telegraph your leg lock so much. I can see you set him up for him. You're not putting any pressure on his guard, all right? Get his leg, throw his leg, all right? Put the pressure on his guard, man. It's there, all right? Play smart, it's your fight, all right? We need this round. Takedown, and then put the pressure on him again, all right? Keep going for the legs, man, because this is based on submission, all right? So you're not going to lose points going for submission, okay? So keep the pressure on, get the takedown, pass, and then set up that heel hook, get on that leg, all right? A couple deep breaths from you. Drink some water for you. Drink some water. One more. Take a one more. Couple deep breaths here.
From the middle, gentlemen.
And there's the last words of encouragement and advice by Mark Lehman. I'm sure Nate Diaz was giving Nick some advice as well. It was just hard to hear him. So they're in their stance. I think it could be 1-1 right now on the judges' scorecards, I guess. Now Nick's getting a lot more frisky here. He's feigning a lot. He's got a pretty good position. Again, you see him trying to touch and go, but he really doesn't want to commit. Doesn't want to commit that much. Now they're hand fighting, a lot of wrist ties, little over under. Again, another 2-on-1 by Nick, and he kind of gets caught in a guillotine. Nick gets his head out. Nick's getting real aggressive, and he's pushing forward. You're going to see Joe right here, and nice little drop seonagi, or arm throw. In wrestling, we might say shoulder throw, arm throw. Some people still call it a Jap whizzer. All right, let's check it out slow-mo. Nick's overcommitting right now. He knows he's probably behind, so he's looking for his 2-on-1 again. It's not quite there. He's got a collar tie with his left hand, and he's starting to drive into Joe, which gives Joe the idea. Joe's backing up, but he's feeling the pressure. He's got an overhook with his right hand, and he rotates and spins, takes Nick right through. He skids across his head as he goes to his guard, and you can see Joe immediately stepping up, going left knee through the middle to knee slice or cut pass, and the referee stops the match for being out of bounds. Here's one more time. We'll show you quick. Again, pushing in. Joe's got the overhook with his right hand. He's just going to spin through. Very easy technique to understand, but takes years of practice to perfect. So pretty awesome technique. And they're down. So after that takedown, he's going to start out in the open guard. And let's see. Nick Diaz, they're arguing again over positioning. Again, they slap hands. Let's get it on. A little bit of guard passing. He's looking for more footlocks. And Nick Diaz looking to snatch a leg off of his open guard, sitting up. It's a nice sweep to go for. He comes back up to his feet. He's got to get aggressive. I think he knows he's down. He's kind of just combing Joe Stevenson's hair, trying to set him up, but Joe's not having any of it. He's moving quick, checking arm drags. Nick Diaz pulling hard on the head, trying to pull the head down, maybe set something up. Nice duck under off the wrist tie. And Nick Diaz with the roll into a triangle. Joe was able to come out of it. Here's another slow-mo look at this again. Notice Nick Diaz's left hand grabbing Joe's right wrist. Joe's just trying to get some energy, push towards him. They break ties for a moment on the left side. Joe grabs again. He's looking for a tie he likes. It's hard to tell right here, but it looks like he's got elbow control with his left hand. Pressures in, and then he uses Nick Diaz's wrist grab against him. Nice duck, nice level change. Squeaks right behind him. Nick immediately rolls, and he's going to catch a triangle, it looks like. And Joe moving back, retreating with his big barrel upper body. He's able to pull his head out and retreat, and that way he stays out of that triangle. That's an important defense for getting out of triangles as well, is knowing how to back out your head before that triangle is cinched. Especially if you can't get your arm out, you got to back your head out. So here's one more time in full speed. Nick's got the wrist control. Joe's looking to set up his duck. Here it is. Nice level change, nice move. Right into a triangle for Nick, but head pops out. Joe's fine. He's a tough guy to triangle, a guy that's built like Joe, very strong, and he's big around the upper body. Very difficult, very powerful. Nick kind of goes into inverted guard and looking to set up a triangle. Joe tried to step into north-south. It didn't quite work. He almost got caught in a triangle, and then as Nick spun back through. Nick was also thinking maybe he could take the back from there as Joe goes into north-south. Another time he comes up for the sweep, and the referee stops it. They were too close to the ropes. He wanted to center it, going back neutral on their feet. Again, I think Nick Diaz is, I think he's down in this match right now. He's got to go. He's got to impress those judges and do something. He's got pulling hard on the collar. He's trying to move his feet, set Joe up, but Joe's just blocking real good. Pushes him away, shoves him off. Again, hand fighting, fingers interlaced a little bit. Collar ties. Joe knows he's got it. He's just there's another bump with the elbow. Pulling hard on the head, wrist ties, maybe setting up another arm drag, duck under combination. Yanking on that head, just kind of wearing him out, letting him know he's not here. He checks a 2-on-1. Another fake single leg. And Nick shrugs it off, takes a shot. Joe sprawls, guillotine position. Nick's holding on to his hands, controlling the hands as best he can, so he can't get a good grip. Comes back up. I think Joe's feeling it right now. He's confident. He's got this in the bag. He's just got to. There's another duck, another drag. Notice he's using a lot of ducks and drags. Ducks and drags. There it is, a little feint. And Nick pulls guard, and Joe goes right into a leg lock, which does some more point scoring for him. If Nick wants to do something, he's got to come back up. Joe is seriously pulling on that foot. He is straight on his back. Most of the time we say you need to be sideways to put the most on it. But either way, I'm sure there was some serious torque. So they're battling. Time's running down. And Nick's got nothing left. He's pulling guard. Joe's just not going to have anything of it. And time runs out. So that was it, guys. I know it wasn't the most exciting, but at least we got to see these two high-level athletes go at it a little bit. It would have been a lot better, I think, without the rounds, but that was the format back then. So they got the three judges come in, and they give their best decision. If you guys like this, please share it with your friends, and if you want me to do more, I'll try to do more grappling matches, narrate them. Okay, thank you guys so much for all your support, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Take it easy.
Stevenson from Cobra Kai, you won your first invitational match at 185. You just beat Nick Diaz. Why don't you run us through this fight right now?
It went all the way, 3 rounds, going at pretty hardcore for a while. It ended up almost being a takedown match on the ground. We were going back and forth in submissions. I had his ankle a couple times, and it popped. He's just a tough son of a bitch.
Tough guy. Okay, and now next round you may fight Marcos Avalon. What do you think about the future with him?
I think the match be a tough one, but I don't see it being any tougher than Nick Diaz, just because psychologically, in my head, I knew I had to beat him if I want to do anything else in MMA. So.
Right, excellent. Well, thank you for joining us, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, partner.